Teddy blinked his sleepy eyes open. Sunlight peeked through the blue curtains of his cozy little bedroom. It was Saturday, market day, the best day of the week. Teddy loved market day even more than jelly toast and dancing socks. He sat up with a big yawn and wiggled his furry brown toes under the blanket. His room smelled of pancakes from the kitchen and something else, too. Cinnamon buns. "Is it time yet?" he called, hopping off the bed with a little thump. He raced to the kitchen in his fuzzy slippers, ears bouncing with every step. Mama Bear stood by the stove, flipping pancakes. Her apron had flour smudges and little smiley strawberries printed all over. "Good morning, my snuggly bun," she said, scooping him up into a pancake-scented hug. "Mama, is it time to go to the market yet?" Teddy asked, voice all wiggly with excitement. "Not quite yet," Mama Bear chuckled. "First comes breakfast, then we'll pack your market bag." Teddy nibbled his pancake, but he was too excited to sit still. He fidgeted in his chair and accidentally got syrup on his nose. Papa Bear chuckled behind his newspaper and passed him a napkin. "Slow down, little cub," Papa said with a smile. "The market isn't going anywhere." But Teddy's tail wiggled just thinking about it. He loved the smells of the market, the buttery popcorn, the fresh apples, and the garlicky cheese twisties from Mr. Badger's stall. He loved the noises, the happy bark of Miss Tilly's singing parrot, the clink-clank of baskets, and the "hello there" from old friends. Most of all, he loved his favorite spot. Teddy didn't tell anyone about his favorite spot. It was a secret little place near the back of the market, where the baker sold honey buns and where the busker with the bouncy hat played music that made your feet tap all by themselves. After breakfast, Mama Bear helped Teddy pack his green market bag. Inside went one shiny silver coin from his allowance, a napkin in case of gooey goodies, his favorite blue handkerchief, just in case someone needed a tissue, and a small drawing he made, a surprise for someone special. With his bag across his shoulder and his tail fluffed and brushed, Teddy was ready. The sun tickled his fur as they walked down Maple Street. Mr. Owl waved from his porch with a newspaper in one claw and tea in the other. Miss Bunny carried a bundle of carrots bigger than her ears. Soon the market came into view, bursting with color, music, and the smell of roasted corn. Flags fluttered between the tents. Kids giggled near the popcorn stand. A goose honked politely in line for jam. Teddy grinned so wide his cheeks nearly fell off. He tugged Mama's paw. "Can I go to my favorite spot?" Mama nodded. "We'll meet you at the lemon stall in 20 minutes. Stay close and be kind." Teddy scampered off through the crowd, past the jam jars stacked like rainbow towers, past the balloon cellar with a string of wobbly sheep-shaped balloons. He weaved between grown-up knees and wobbly wheels toward the music he loved best. There it was, his favorite spot. The baker, Mrs. Wren, was setting out golden honey buns with twinkling sugar dust on top. Next to her, Mr. Acorn, the raccoon busker, strummed his guitar and tapped his paws. He wore a polka-dot vest and a hat that bounced every time he nodded. Teddy sat right on his favorite crate, just beside the baker's table. He called it his listening seat. No one else ever sat there, not even once. Mr. Acorn noticed him and played a special silly note. Teddy clapped his paws. "I'm here," he said with a giggle. Mrs. Wren passed him a warm honey bun wrapped in a napkin. "Good morning, Teddy. Looks like the crate missed you." Teddy gave her the little drawing he'd made. It was of her stall, with music notes and sugar buns and smiling faces. "For you," he whispered shyly. Her eyes sparkled. "Why, thank you, dear one. This'll go right up on my board." Music filled the air. Shoppers tapped their feet. The goose honked a high note. Teddy munched his honey buns slowly, cheeks full, heart happy. He was home. This was his place. He looked up at the sky, at the dancing clouds and fluttering flags, and gave a deep, cozy sigh. Tomorrow would be just a normal day again. But today? Today was market day, and market day meant magic. The music drifted through the market like warm honey in tea. Teddy wiggled his toes to the beat and took the last bite of his honey bun, licking a bit of sugar from his paw. He was still sitting on his favorite crate, right beside Mrs. Wren's stall. Mr. Acorn twirled his guitar and played a twinkly tune. A few grown-ups clapped. A toddler bounced in a stroller. Teddy gave the raccoon a big thumbs up. "Thanks, little buddy," Mr. Acorn called with a wink. Teddy looked around the market square. It was full of happy faces and little surprises. A duck was trying on sunglasses. A grandma pig gave out knitted pot holders for free. And somewhere in the middle of it all, a bright red kite danced in the sky. "Ooh," whispered Teddy. The kite swirled and twirled, its tail swishing like a fish in a pond. It swooped between flags and soared high above the popcorn stand. Teddy stood on his crate to get a better view. That kite was beautiful. Its fabric shimmered like a cherry lollipop, and its long yellow ribbon tail whooshed in the breeze. But then, uh-oh. The kite began to dip. It wobbled. It tilted. And then, snap. The string broke. "Oh no!" Teddy gasped. The red kite tumbled down like a sleepy bird, drifting lower and lower until it disappeared behind the soap stall and a mountain of fuzzy slippers. Teddy jumped off his crate. He had to help. Someone must be missing that kite. Maybe they were sad. Maybe they were crying. He hurried past the pie stand and tiptoed around a spilled tomato crate. "Excuse me, pardon me," he said as he squeezed between two hedgehogs comparing teacups. Behind the slipper stall, he spotted a flicker of red. The kite had landed in a barrel of beans. Teddy reached in and gently tugged it out. The ribbon was tangled and one corner was bent, but it still looked lovely. "Gotcha," he whispered, holding it carefully. Then he heard a sniffle. Sniff, snuffle. Teddy turned and spotted a small squirrel sitting behind a table of painted marbles. Her ears drooped and her nose was red. "My kite," she murmured. "It flew away." Teddy stepped closer, holding the kite gently in front of him. "Is this yours?" he asked softly. The squirrel's eyes lit up. "Yes, oh yes, that's it. My grandpa made it just for me." Teddy smiled and held it out. It landed in a bean barrel. I rescued it. The squirrel carefully took the kite and hugged it like a teddy bear. "I thought I'd lost it forever," she whispered. "I'm Teddy," he said with a shy wave. "I'm Maple," said the squirrel, brushing her tears away with her tail. "Thank you for finding it." Teddy noticed her kite string was completely gone. "Do you need help flying it again?" Maple nodded, "But I don't have any more string." Teddy thought for a moment. Then he opened his market bag and pulled out his favorite blue handkerchief. It had tiny white stars stitched around the edges. "I could tie this to the tail. It might not fly quite the same, but it'll still be fun." Maple's eyes grew wide. "You'd give me your special handkerchief?" Teddy blushed. "I can get another one, but a red kite with a blue star tail, that sounds pretty amazing." Together they tied the handkerchief to the kite. Maple's paws were small and careful. Teddy held the frame steady. Then they walked to the open space near the flower stall, where the wind liked to spin everyone's hats. Teddy held the kite up. "Ready?" Maple nodded. Paws out. 3, 2, 1, go!
He tossed the kite into the air, and Maple tugged on the new ribbon tail. The red kite soared. Higher, higher. It spun and looped and danced just like before, but now with a flash of starlight behind it. They giggled and chased it together. The ribbon flapped in the breeze, and the kite dipped and twirled like it was happy too. After a long while, they sat on the grass beside the path, panting and laughing. "You have a good heart, Teddy," Maple said. "Thanks. It's because I eat warm honey buns." She laughed. "Do you come to the market every week?" "Always," Teddy said. "I have a secret spot." Maple's ears perked up. "A secret?" Teddy leaned in. "I sit by the baker's stall. It's the perfect place for music, smells, and watching people smile." Maple smiled. "That sounds like a perfect market spot." Teddy nodded. "Want to visit it next time?" Maple clapped her paws. "Yes, please." They watched the kite fly one last loop in the sky before drifting gently down like a sleepy bird. Just then, Teddy heard Mama's voice calling from near the lemon stall. "Time to go," he said softly. "See you next Saturday?" Teddy grinned. "You bet." He waved goodbye, tail swishing, as he skipped back through the market, past the soap stall, the slipper mountain, and the marbles, his heart feeling even warmer than the honey bun in his tummy. Because sometimes your favorite market spot gets even better when you share it. The next Saturday morning, Teddy awoke to the cheerful thump of his tail wagging against the blanket. The sky outside his window was bright and blue, just the way he liked it. Market day again. He packed his green market bag with great care. 2 shiny coins from last week's chores, a freshly folded yellow napkin, a crayon drawing he made just this morning, and a new handkerchief, this one red with tiny suns on it. At breakfast, he told Mama Bear and Papa Bear all about Maple and the red kite. "I'm glad you helped her," Mama said with a smile. "And I'm glad you remembered to be kind," Papa added. Teddy beamed. "Can I visit my spot again today?" "Of course," Mama said, tying his scarf gently. "Just remember, kindness is the best thing you can bring to the market." Teddy held that thought in his heart as they walked down Maple Street. The leaves were rustling in the breeze. A mouse pushed a tiny stroller. Mr. Owl was watering his daisies. All was right with the world. But when they reached the market, something felt different. Teddy skipped past the jam stall and the colorful pinwheels, past the dancing tomato mascot and the bubble-blowing frog. He made his way toward the baker's corner. His crate was waiting. But where was Mr. Acorn? Mrs. Wren stood alone behind her honey buns. Her feathers looked a little droopy. Teddy climbed onto his listening crate. "Where's Mr. Acorn today?" Mrs. Wren sighed. "He hurt his paw yesterday while moving crates at home. Nothing serious, but he's resting today." Teddy looked down at his paws. The music was missing. The market felt too quiet without Mr. Acorn's joyful strums and silly songs. Even the honey buns smelled less sweet without a melody in the air. Just then, Maple the squirrel appeared. Kite rolled under her arm. "Hi, Teddy," she said, climbing onto the crate beside him. "Something feels off." "Mr. Acorn's not here," Teddy said. "He's resting." Maple's ears drooped. "Oh no, who's going to make the music?" Teddy glanced down at the crayon drawing in his bag. He'd drawn a picture of Mr. Acorn with stars all around him and musical notes that floated into the sky. He wanted to give it to him today. He pulled it out and showed Maple. "That's perfect," she said softly. "Let's bring it to him." Teddy's tail gave a hopeful little wag. "Do you know where he lives?" Maple nodded. "He lives in a cozy green treehouse right behind the flower meadow. I saw him there once picking berries." They told Mrs. Wren, who packed 2 mini honey buns for the road, and off they went. Teddy, Maple, and the red kite gently tucked in the crook of her elbow. The walk to Mr. Acorn's home was lovely. Bees buzzed. A duck waddled by with a book on her head. Teddy held the crayon drawing tight, not to smudge the sparkly notes he'd added with extra glitter. Finally, they reached a twisty green tree with wind chimes hanging from every branch. The door at the base had a tiny welcome mat that said, "Strum happily." Teddy knocked gently. A moment later, Mr. Acorn peeked out, his paw wrapped in a bandage and a striped tea towel wrapped around his head like a bandana. "Well, I'll be pickled in pancake syrup if it isn't Teddy and Maple." "We missed your music," Teddy said. "We brought you something," Maple added. Teddy handed him the crayon drawing. "It's you playing music even in the sky." Mr. Acorn's eyes got a little shiny. He smiled wide, the kind of smile that goes all the way to your whiskers. "I love it," he said, gently setting it on a little shelf by the door. "We brought honey buns too," Maple said, "and extra sticky." Mr. Acorn chuckled. "You kids are something special." They sat in his treehouse garden for a while. Mr. Acorn hummed a soft tune as he sipped warm honey tea. The breeze moved the wind chimes in tinkly little songs. "I've been sad all morning," he said. "It's hard to stay home when the market's so full of music and joy, but now it feels like it came to me instead." Teddy's ears perked up. "Do you have any spare instruments?" Mr. Acorn raised an eyebrow. "Well, now, I might." He opened a little chest near his rocking chair and pulled out a basket full of jingly things, tambourines, tiny drums, even a kazoo shaped like a banana. "Want a jam?" Teddy and Maple grinned. Teddy shook a tambourine with a hop, Maple tapped a drum with her tail, and Mr. Acorn strummed a soft rhythm with his good paw. The garden bloomed with music. Butterflies danced near the flowers. Even a grumpy chipmunk on a bench tapped his foot. When the music stopped, Teddy felt a bubble of joy inside him. "Can we bring the music back to the market next week?" he asked. Mr. Acorn winked. "Absolutely. I'll be ready." They walked back to the market, hearts full and paws sticky from honey buns. Sometimes, Teddy thought, the music isn't in the instrument. It's in the kindness you carry with you.
The following Saturday began with a soft pat-pat-patter on the window. Teddy peeked through the curtains. Raindrops danced on the glass like tiny drummers in rubber boots. He turned to Mama Bear. "Will the market still be open if it's raining?" Mama smiled as she folded a big yellow umbrella. "Of course, Sweet Pea. A little rain never stops the market. We just wear boots and bring puddle-jumping smiles." Teddy wriggled into his blue raincoat, pulled on his splashiest boots, and packed his market bag with today's treasures. 1 coin and 1 button, in case he saw the button-trading duck. His new orange striped handkerchief, a drawing of the market under rainbow umbrellas, and a tiny lemon candy for later. As they strolled through drizzly streets, Teddy hopped over puddles and watched worms squiggle across the sidewalk. Maple was waiting at the market gate with her hood pulled up and her tail tucked inside. "Ready for a rainy day adventure?" she asked. "You bet," Teddy said. They walked through the market together, the umbrellas overhead like jellyfish bobbing in the breeze. The baker's stall smelt even warmer and cozier in the rain. And Mrs. Wren had wrapped the honey buns in twirly wax paper decorated with smiley clouds. Teddy spotted his favorite crate beside the table, still dry under a striped awning. He and Maple climbed up and waved to Mrs. Wren. "Ready for honey buns?" she asked. "Always," they chorused. As they munched, something curious happened. Thunk! A lemon rolled past Teddy's boots. Thunk! Another one, and another. Teddy blinked. "Is it raining lemons?" Mrs. Wren laughed. "I think it's the lemon stall." Sure enough, behind a row of umbrellas, the lemon seller's cart had tipped sideways on the wet cobbles. Lemons rolled everywhere, under tables, into puddles, even into someone's boot. Teddy and Maple jumped down to help. So did a goose, a few ducklings, and a rabbit in polka dot socks. Together, they gathered the lemons and returned them to the giggling lemon seller, who thanked them all with a lemon tart cut into tiny squares. "That's market magic," Teddy said, licking the tart from his paw. "Even the lemons know how to dance." Just as they were about to head back to the listening crate, Teddy heard a soft sound behind the jam jars. "Yep." He paused. "Did you hear that?" "Yep," it said again, very quiet and very unsure. Teddy tiptoed toward the sound and peeked behind the jars. A tiny brown puppy with floppy ears and the saddest eyes was sitting in a dry box, shivering slightly. "Oh no," Maple whispered. "Is it lost?" Teddy crouched beside the box. "Hey there, little friend." The puppy wagged its tail once, just a little. Its fur was damp and a single blue ribbon was tied loosely around its neck. Teddy reached into his bag and gently pulled out the orange-striped handkerchief. "Here," he said, wrapping it around the puppy like a mini blanket. "This will help you warm up." The puppy licked his paw in thanks. "We need to find who it belongs to," Maple said. Teddy nodded. "Let's ask around." Carrying the puppy gently in his arms, Teddy and Maple walked from stall to stall. "Have you seen a missing puppy?" they asked. Mrs. Wren hadn't. The popcorn penguins hadn't. Even the button trading duck said, "Nope, not mine, but I'll spread the word." At the balloon cart, they got an idea. "Can we have one balloon, please?" Teddy asked. "Something bright." The vendor handed over a yellow balloon with a little smiling star on it. Teddy tied the balloon to the puppy's ribbon. "Now," he said, "when we walk through the market, everyone will notice." And they did. People paused. They smiled. They pointed and whispered. Finally, a young mouse girl with big round glasses ran toward them, shouting, "Muffin! Muffin!" The puppy barked once and wiggled so fast he nearly fell from Teddy's arms. The girl scooped him up, hugging him tight. "You found him! I was so scared. He ran off when my umbrella turned inside out." Teddy smiled. "He was behind the jam jars, cold and shy." Maple added, "But now he's warm and wrapped in a handkerchief." The mouse girl's eyes sparkled. "Thank you both so much." She handed Teddy a tiny pouch of cinnamon treats. "For being heroes," she said. As the girl walked off with Muffin bouncing in her arms, Teddy felt the kind of happy that made your chest float a little. They returned to the listening crate and sat quietly for a while, nibbling cinnamon treats. Maple leaned her head on his shoulder. "That was a good market day." Teddy nodded. "Even in the rain." A soft guitar sound floated toward them. They turned. It was Mr. Acorn, back at his usual spot, paw all healed, plucking out a song about rain boots and lemon tarts.
Teddy's tail wagged. His favorite spot was whole again, filled with music, kindness, and now the memory of a puppy with a balloon. Teddy's tail swished with excitement as he brushed his fur and straightened the green strap on his market bag. It was festival day at the market, and that meant something extra special. The market parade! All week long, everyone had been whispering about it. "There'll be music and hats," said Mrs. Wren. "There'll be cupcakes shaped like chickens," said the cupcake sheep. "There might even be a bubble dragon," said the balloon vendor with a twinkle in his eye. Teddy didn't know what a bubble dragon was, but he couldn't wait to find out. He packed his bag with the most important things. A sparkly star badge Mama Bear helped him glue to a ribbon, 1 gold coin to spend on something sweet, a little card he'd made with his crayons, and a teeny tiny poem inside, and
a surprise, wrapped in soft green paper tied with string. "Who's the surprise for?" Papa Bear asked as they strolled through the sunshine. "You'll see," Teddy said with a secret grin. The market was busier than ever. Stalls overflowed with colorful treats and decorations. Bunting fluttered between the trees like rainbow spaghetti. Musicians were warming up with toots and strums and bangy drum booms. Maple was already by their favorite crate, bouncing on her toes. "Teddy," she shouted, "guess what? We get to march in the parade with the kite flyers." Teddy's eyes sparkled. "Really?" She nodded, and guess what else? Mr. Acorn wrote a song just for today. The raccoon strummed his guitar nearby, tapping one paw in rhythm. His polka-dot vest had new buttons shaped like musical notes. "Ready, Teddy?" he asked with a grin. Teddy gave a big thumbs up. Soon, the parade began. Leading the way was a band of bunnies in bowler hats blowing shiny brass horns. Behind them, a flock of ducklings in tutus waddled in perfect zigzags. Then came the cupcake cart, with wheels made of jelly beans, and behind that, the kite flyers. Maple and Teddy right in front, tails swishing with pride. Teddy held his kite string tight. Maple's red kite flew high and proud, its new tail, now made from scraps collected from market friends, fluttering like festival flags. Everyone cheered as they passed. Lemons flew like confetti. Someone blew a bubble shaped exactly like a dragon. It did exist after all. Mr. Acorn strummed on a little float behind them, his voice bright and bouncy. "Marching feet, sunny street, a market full of friends to meet. Tales and tunes and toast and tea, come join the joyful jamboree." Teddy felt like his heart was floating alongside the kites. After the final loop around the stalls, the parade ended at the big wooden stage near the tulip patch. There, the market leader, Grandma Goose, stood with a scroll. She wore a crown made entirely of bread rolls. "Welcome to the market's kindness parade," she honked. "And now for our special surprise." The crowd hushed. Grandma Goose held up a golden pin shaped like a smiling paw. "This year's Kindness Heart Award goes to someone small but mighty. Someone who helps puppies, rescues kites, shares honey buns, and always remembers to be kind." Teddy blinked. His paws went still. "Please welcome Teddy Bear." Maple gasped. "Teddy, it's you!" The crowd clapped and cheered and stomped their feet as Teddy walked shyly to the stage. His cheeks were pink and his ears felt floaty. Grandma Goose pinned the smiling paw to his jacket and gave him a hug that smelled like cinnamon. "You make this market better just by being you," she whispered. Teddy looked out over the crowd, Mrs. Wren waving a bun, Mr. Acorn strumming soft chords, the button-trading duck tossing sparkles. He took a deep breath and pulled something from his bag. I have a surprise too." He walked back to the crate and handed Maple the green-wrapped bundle. She unwrapped it carefully. Inside was a tiny painted box, and when she opened it, there sat her red kite, folded neatly with a tiny gold charm shaped like a star on its tail. Teddy smiled. "For your first real parade, you helped me believe in sharing my favorite place." Maple blinked fast. "Teddy, it's beautiful." "And this," Teddy added, pulling out the card, "is for Mr. Acorn." Mr. Acorn opened the card and read the poem aloud. "You play the tunes that make us dance. You give each bun and smile a chance.
Your music is the market's glue. It wouldn't be the same without you." Mr. Acorn sniffled. "I'm going to need an extra napkin." The crowd giggled. Later, as the sun began to dip and shadows stretched long across the cobblestones, Teddy sat once again on his crate. His badge shone. His heart felt like a honey bun. Maple leaned beside him, still hugging the kite. "Did you know this was your favorite market spot when you first found it?" she asked. Teddy thought for a moment. "No, but now I know why. It's not just the smells or the music, it's the people, the friends, the magic we make together." Maple smiled. "Best spot ever." As the sky turned pink and stars winked above, Mr. Acorn played one last lullaby. Teddy listened, tail curled around his paws, the sound of laughter and gentle notes drifting on the breeze. He didn't need a crown or a trumpet or even a parade. He already had everything that made the market his favorite place in the world.